Walk of shame, walk of fame. The delta, the change between shame and fame is absolutely minuscule. What is a walk of shame? The walk of shame happens when your Saturday night transitions into Sunday morning. Your walk of shame is rolling in at 4, 5, 11 a.m. from last night, 11 a.m., 9 a.m., 3 a.m. That's when some people's Saturday night ends. When did you last laugh at someone else's walk of fame? College, the Jew of I, Illini Tower. There's only one main entrance in to the dorm, Illini Tower. 16 floors, cafeteria, food service on the first floor. In order to walk into the building, there's a little bit of a walled glass maze that you have to enter through. Therefore, on Saturday night, if you stayed out all night, you're gonna have to walk past diners who can wake up but early. I think dining opened at 6 a.m., maybe 6:30, pretty early, where for 2 or more hours, 3 people ate per hour. So during that time, if you woke up but early, you could observe people wearing Saturday night clothes on Sunday morning. How fun was it to do engineering homework in the cafeteria while eating food and then seeing, hey, there's people rolling in still from last night. It's 10 a.m. There are still people that thought they wouldn't have to experience the walk of shame. It's 8:30 a.m. What time is it now? It's time to enjoy walk of fame and walk of shame. When we're able to hang out together, when the majority of America doesn't go out to party because it's Saturday night. And remember, this isn't just any random Saturday night. This is the Saturday night before Halloween, meaning it's open season to dress up. It's frolic and be playful in how you costume, and euphoria in, hey, it's getting cold out there. Are you gonna find a snuggle buddy for a relationship, or are you gonna be single all winter? That's why Saturday night before Halloween is a cultural inflection point. That's why we, inside of Walk of Fame, Walk of Shame, can discern the difference between, are you still holding out for the fact that you might be in a positive relationship by Thanksgiving, Christmas? 2, have you wholly given up on the fact that romantically you may not be involved for the duration? 3, do you even go out on weekends to socialize, or are you with the economy that is the worst of times frame of mind, where you've given up on romantic relationships, where you've given up on meeting people in and around the Halloween season, which notoriously is the easiest time of the year to meet people that are outside of your existing friend group. Let's look at Walk of Shame, Walk of Fame, and how people interact with the 5 people that they hang out with most. And if we're being playful, brainstorm ways for us to spend time one-on-one as we meet strangers, so that way we can have a future best friend. Networking. Like LinkedIn networking in and around Halloween, but for your area below the waist, where you're trying to link in your sausage into a port. Hopefully not a stormy port. Let's frolic and be playful in how we think about our romantic relationships, where we're going from Halloween party to Halloween party with some enthusiasm. I'm not saying go from failure to failure with great enthusiasm. That's ideal. But if we can just go from All Hallows Eve party to next Halloween party with a little bit of energy. You might be isolated and you might be not loving going out. You might go from existing, oh, I just want to make it through blah, 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 into this mind frame, which is creative and smart, which is, what if we looked at seasons of a country? What if we looked at seasons of your life as we connect the seasons that are going into winter? And it's not just colder in winter. I'm talking about the season of winter in thinking, where all the fraud begins to freeze over. And during that non-boom time, can we maintain a solar plexus that has risen versus bad posture, bad attitude, bad thinking about Walk of Fame? Because what is the Walk of Fame? It's us seeing that other people are happily hooking up. It's seeing that other people are waking up for a sunrise video. It's seeing other people's practice, or what you think is a perfection. That's why I winced a little bit when I said the word practice, is that we get to spend time one-on-one. And from that time, are we able to go from 0 to 1? New best friend. Networking. Are we able to go from our 5-person influencing acquaintance group, our 5-person YouTube influencer group, to a 5th, 6th, or 7th person that we meet via social media networking, which is what this is, us spending time one-on-one, or a in real life where we go to one work event because submitting job applications on the internet, it hasn't been going great. Submitting a Web 2 interaction, that's been leaving you unfulfilled and stressed out of your mind. Walk of Fame. When people are doing Walk of Fame and they're just strutting like they're happy, your body sends your brain into flow. What have I been recognizing in the real world? I've been recognizing that bars and restaurants are wholly empty. I've been recognizing that it feels like a lot of people have given up on the notion that, hey, Saturday night, it's going to be a rockin' party. Also, notice that a lot of people, as far as energy-wise, they're getting demoralized because of robots. And I'm not saying that robots have taken over the world. I'm saying robots have infected and affected our brains. Why? Because there is so much information that's just being bombarded towards us that if we're reading slowly or processing new information, Hot Girl Entrepreneurship Club, slowly, what happens is we get washed under. Here's a terrific example. Chaos within the myriad of conspiracy theories. There is the conspiracy theory of money printing. That's a theorem. The conspiracy theory of chemtrails, the government spraying chemical in the air. The conspiracy of everything seems to be a conspiracy theory. Can you take an idea and solidify the validity by asking yourself, is this a theory or is this a theorem? Hard M, because a theorem you can derive. Money printing, the Federal Reserve, when income tax was enacted in 1913, 1917, 1918, ditto making gold illegal, 1913, 1917, establishing income tax, a federal one, 1913, 1917, sinking the Titanic on purpose, same time. Making something go from Walk of Fame into a theorem, which is, that's a walk of shame, here's my theory. A theory is like a conspiracy theory, is something that's temporarily or forevermore unproven. The word itself is meant to demoralize you for understanding a partial truth, which is, hey, the Vietnam War had detractors. Let's try to demoralize people trying to organize patterns into information that other people recognize. Like so many battles where people die, there's also the battle of narrative. There's a battle and a war over information, which is 1, what to pay attention to. 2, how might things turn out? 3, what are you hoping for as a result? That's why this video is called Walk of Fame, Walk of Shame. Are you getting demoralized that other people are hooking up on Saturday night, where Saturday night rolls right into 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m. on Sunday. What happens after you hook up? You are incredibly glowy. 2, you are incredibly in flow. 3, are you beta wave braining? Beta wave stressed? No, you're happy as a clam, especially if you're a guy. Why? Because a key going into a keyhole, opening that door 5, 6, 9 orgasms is a magical key. But what happens if your keyhole has 3 or 4 or 2 or even 1 dirty key that didn't open any orgasms, that didn't open any of your orifices, that didn't open, and it was just a bad key? That's you understanding that walk of fame, walk of shame is discerned between, were you a man getting lucky, or were you a woman scoring penis? How hard is it to score vagina? For some people, pretty easy. But for other people, kind of hard. How hard is it to score penis? Super easy, because it's why biology works the way it does, which is men risk very little having sex, whereas women risk a lot having sex. And people don't understand risk because they got sold, hey, as a woman, you should destroy your hookup count, and women should just act like men. How has that worked so far? How has that worked so far? Walk of shame. How has that worked where women seem to get dumber if women get rejected after too much sex, whereas men, if they get rejected after sex, become genius? Look at who invents stuff and why it's based on sexual energy. The sexual energy of rejecting a man, and then the man coming to the conclusion, if I don't write a New York Times bestseller book, no one's going to play with my weenie. Men getting rejected, coming to the conclusion, if I don't re-engineer this car and sell a profitable number of these cars, I'm never going to have sex. Walk of shame, getting rejected. If I don't level up in my career, my LinkedIn is not going to be my dating profile. That's a callback to a prior video, which was quite entertaining, called My LinkedIn, It's My Dating App, which is us doing sunrise videos where we're going from darkness into light, because we're going from walk of shame into walk of fame. Getting rejected and then saying, I need to get a really, really, really good job in order for women to be attracted to my personality, in order for them to be attracted to your money. This is also why men don't care about what women do for work. Why? Because it's the wiring. Boss babes, hugs. That's a future video which I will tease and preview, which is Boss babes. How to network during Halloween as a boss babe. 1. Yes, handshakes, but don't try to do a handshake as if you're a weightlifter, where too firm of a handshake grip and you're borderline psychotic. It's like the handshake grip where you're trying to crush a person's hand, but your hand has no grip strength. That's what happens when women shake hands. Hi, nice to meet you. And the woman handshake is a little too strong and a little too grippy. It's like your hand's got a job and it's gonna crush a baby arm, where you can crush a baby's arm, but you can't have appropriate grip strength. Is this dating advice for boss babes? Absolutely. Why? Because you've been lied to about attractiveness, because women want to impress other women. Have you heard, oh, why are you so dressed up? I'm dressing up sure to attract men, but I'm more dressing up so that way I can connect with other women. At the heart of Walk of Fame, Walk of Shame, is that women are women's worst enemy. The lie that was told was, there's a man trying to destroy you. Now, men don't say any of these truths, and they just stay home on Saturday nights. Why am I smirking? Because when you go out on Saturday night, it's only women that are out. And that you would think would be good if you're a heterosexual guy, but it turns out when the ratio is that messed up, it doesn't help. It needs to still be 50-50. 1, competition and connection. 2, it's just off when it's 70, 80, 75% women and 15 to 20% men. Why is this dynamic happening? Why do people stop having sex? Why do people later on have fewer children? It's because the money's messed up. And that's why my videos are not political in nature. They're specific for, can you get slightly better? Am I going to talk about money here? I'm going to talk about how there are nearly 4,700 videos on capital, venture capital, credit, small business side hustles, improving financial outlook, and the culmination, which is even during a depression, billion-dollar businesses get started. Recessions and depressions are actually the best time to realize, hey, this is the season for being able to start a business with no money. Portillo's hot dog. This is the season of time between Halloween and Christmas where people become more connected. Why? Because people don't want to be single during the holidays. Seasons. This economic season that we're entering into is a type of condition that has not existed in over 100 years. Historically, people love to say, oh, 2025 is kind of like the GFC, the global financial crisis. Chatri, what's up? 2025 is like 2008, the GFC, global financial crisis. I'm here to let you know that silver was supposed to spike in price when the fiat fake money printing system collapsed 2001. Why is it that doomsday sayers have been saying, oh, it's going to crash, oh, we're in for doom? Because the people that understand how gravity works, the people who understand how money printing works, they don't understand financial engineering as manipulated by a person with an aerospace engineering background. Why did I point to myself? Because if I'm standing close to the money printer, I'm part of the problem. But I didn't know that I was in a system until I started to get answers to the questions that have always been lurking. Those are why I have over 4,000 videos that I think are incredibly insightful. I Get It, which is on September 11, I said, oh my God, how diabolical is it to assassinate yourself? How diabolical and how complex of a suicide is that? Where you're getting yourself assassinated on September 10? Like, who even thinks like that? Well, a certain ethnicity thinks like that through and through, because that's why you don't want to be super genius, is because you come up with things that are no other word than diabolical. Is this going to be a conspiracy theorem mapped out? Yeah, actually, real quick. Walk of Fame, Walk of Shame, Charlie Kirk. Who benefits from getting assassinated like that? Who does? Once you figure out who financially benefits and then follow the money, you'll come to the same conclusion that I came to. That's my partially mapped out theorem, hard M. Because when we're talking about a topic, credit bureaus, me as a baby entrepreneur. Hi everybody, I'm Larry Chang. I'm here to tell you that there's a system that's wired against you. It's called TransUnion, Experian, Equifax. Those people broker negative information on you. That's their business model, period. Now other people then say, oh, you're such a conspiracy theorist. Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, they're good companies. They would never sell negative information about you that's not true. They would never do that. Why would they do that? Do you see how initially you just discover the one thing, which is the credit system is wired to conspire against you? Julian, can you repeat? First of all, welcome. Can you repeat the context behind what you're saying? Are you talking about me because college has benefited? colleges colleges is complicated because colleges want limitless credit. So me having a system to help people get a higher credit score, I don't know if that benefits colleges. Colleges want the government to provide limitless credit so that way colleges can raise tuition. That's, maybe you can clarify, but that's colleges in a nutshell, which is sell the lie of, if you just had this piece of paper on a Bachelor of Arts degree for my branded college, Miami, Ohio, Bachelor of Arts, if you had this piece of paper, you will make a lot of money. And the BS then started to unfold, which is employers not wanting to hire even certain vintages at Stanford University entrepreneurship. Does that help? Does that help, Julian, with credit? Because the first time I did my Walk of Fame, I discovered how to make a theory turn into a theorem. What is a theorem? It's a geometry proof. Can you prove that this triangle is exactly the size of this Illuminati triangle? Yes, I can. If it's a 11-inch triangle on all three sides, I can then put my penis and say, okay, this is 11 inches. This triangle is the same size as the second triangle, is the same size as a leg of my penis. Together, it is now proving no longer a theory, it is now a theorem. Now, the first step to going from a theory to a theorem is us showing Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax are together in conspiring to keep people in debt, so that way there's more negative information to broker. What happens when you have good credit and then don't use it? Famously, Warren Buffett's credit score was 719. Famously, if you never use credit that used to be a 800 FICO score credit, your credit drops to 720. This is ideal because you never want to trade a high credit score for wealth. Meaning, some people would rather have high wealth versus high credit. People that would say, oh, I'm really wealthy, my credit score is really high, they're saying that they have recently stopped owing money on a car loan. This is the system that was designed, not a conspiracy theory, system being debt slavery, system being let's get people to owe money on a car, system being a car loan is de facto. Trading in your car while owing more money than your car is worth, that is normal. Is that good? No. When I say normal, I mean popular. That's walk of shame. That's walk of fame, where there is financially not a lot of incentive for a person to run Duck 9 telling you information that's good for you. There is not that financial motivation. For example, here, sign up for this credit card try to never pay interest. Here, sign up for this car loan. After this car loan, try to never again owe money on a car. How could I have made more money at Duck9? I could have said, oh, would you like a sexy, brand new, awesome car today? You don't have to wait. By getting people to not drive a used car that they already owned, and always something new, breaking your brain for something new. That's conspiring to keep you always in debt. That's conspiring to always have you on the tit of, I always need a new car. I will go broke, literally, because subprime and non-prime car loans are in the pooper. That's why my company's called Duck9. Avoid Chapter 9 bankruptcy. Do I understand bankruptcy super well? I do. This is your benefit, is understanding the difference between conspiracy theory and conspiracy theorem. Flat Earth model. Have you ever been with a girl who had 9-figure blindness? Why is Flat Earth model also math blindness? This is why, and this is the juiciest thing that's going to drop in this video. Don't text message your friend to say, hey, join this Larry Chang thing. Just go ahead and steal what I'm going to tell you, and you're going to seem like you're the most interesting friend within your 5-person friend group. Flat Earth theory. Why is that even a thing? Because conspiracy theory, never going to be a theorem, which is, hi everybody, the world is flat. Why is that a thing? It's a thing because you're trying to demoralize people who can't defend proving, hey, the Earth's round because of curvature, because of geometry, where people can't disprove it, so then now they kind of get sucked into flat Earth. How does this then connect to female math blindness, as in women not doing math? Not a conspiracy theory, a conspiracy theorem, which is getting females to not know basic math. And this is not a dystopian revelation. This is life in 2025, which is 666. 6 feet, 6 inches, 6 figures. This is why dating apps got centralized, is how many guys are making 6 figures? Fewer than 10%. Of those guys that are making 6 figures, how many are single? Even smaller percentage. 6-pack, 6 inches of dick, I don't know what the other 6 is. Coincidentally, those are also Roman numeral obfuscation. Quick, do the math. Super Bowl XXXVIII plus XXXIX. Quick, do the math on that. Do the math on that. When you're not doing base 10 math, you're going to have a hard time realizing that it was adding up to 72. Because what happens is when X is the number for 10, you're using letters for numbers. Why were Roman numerals so complicated? Did they not have base 10 math, where 3 plus 3 could equal 6? Or 3 plus 3 equals V1, which is 5-1, which is 6, the Roman numeral for 6. Bread and circus, the Super Bowl. That's why Super Bowls are confusing when you look at the Roman numerals. That also applies to 666 for, oh, I want a guy who makes 6 figures. While women in mass are having a hard time making 6 figures total before they turn 30 years old. In fact, the super majority of women on the planet, 98% of women, will not make 100K before they turn 30 years old. Some women won't make 100K before they turn 40 years old. So when you're listening to the Boss Babe conundrum, asking yourself the question, why are there so few a number of females that are billionaires? Why is Larry Chang batting 1,000 when it comes to female blonde billionaires? Why is it that money that is female made is so rare? Because it's so much easier to inherit it or get it when you marry someone rich and then you get that money. Lorianne Jobs, Steve Jobs' wife. Mackenzie Bezos. Cliche, 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 not a theorem. What happens when you conjure up this theorem? People say, oh, that's just a theory that you've proved with data. And then you say, Lisa Falzone, you say, billionaire friend of mine. Caroline Rodriguez, she's a billionaire. She made it herself with Larry Chang being nearby. Shelby Sapp, blah, blah, blah. Whitney Wolf, everybody. Sarah Blakely. I'm forgetting 5. That's okay. Because girl math, Miami math, works like this. 6 figures won't be earned total, not just 1 year, total before 30 for women. This is why I call myself the vagina whisperer, because I solved problems, and then when women start to solve that problem, being a billionaire woman with an abundance mindset, that's literally right around the corner. Is this going to be a video about how to do a Silicon Valley startup by being mentored by Larry Chang? No. There are 2,800 videos on that topic. You're welcome. Which is 6 figures. I would like a guy to make 6 figures. We're at the point right now in chaos of dating. Women don't even ask me what I do when I'm out and about. It used to be, hey, you're cute, tall for a Asian. What kind of car do you drive? Can we go somewhere? I want to see what kind of car you're rocking. Before that would be, oh, you're coming over to say hi to me? Okay. What do you do? Meaning, are you rich? Those questions have gradually stopped to the last 30 women that I've talked to. 0 have asked me what I do for work. They just look at me and they're like, you seem like you're employed. I'm too intimidated to ask you what you do for work. Think about that. It isn't just the last 30 women I've met. I would say the last 100 plus women have never asked, what do you do? It used to be where you're asking that question to say, hey, are you going to be buying me cool stuff, and are we going to be going to cool places? Why is that question no longer even asked? It's because it's the name of this video. Walk of Walk of shame, walk of fame. Concluding some insights for you. The reason women don't ask, hey, are you rich? It's because there are only two economies. Best of times, worst of times. People exist on both sides of the spectrum. The middle is screwed. That's why I had videos That's why I had videos on the K-shaped economy. I cannot think of the last time I met a woman that then said, hey, what do you do for work? Before I said 30 women, and then I increased that number to 100 women, I'm going to say it's well over 100 cold open women that have never asked, hey, what do you do? What is your job? Within math, then asking this question, because everything is fake, how do you audit? With things being fiat from an economic standpoint, how do we get into something real, more real than even this video? That is this. Roman numerals getting people, especially women, to have a number, 6 figures, roll off, along with 3 words that rhyme, which throws the math off even more. These 3 words carry with it a ginormous amount of emotion. This video is called Walk of Fame, Walk of Shame. These 3 words are confusing because they rhyme. Million, billion, trillion. Because math-wise, there is such a chasm. There is such a difference. To go from conspiracy theory to conspiracy theorem is your investment thesis. Theory, theorem, thesis. My thesis for all my videos is, if you were to just leave the number 0, 600K and 10 million is 5 steps away. But the step to leave 0, it's nearly impossible, which is why most people, they kind of get stuck. So the math of million, billion, trillion, it plays with your brain, and also historically, women have not tried to gain economic equality via proof of work. And once the risk is understood, not from risk mitigation theory, but risk minimization theorem, now you can see why I get the moniker the Vagina Whisperer. Because, one, I'm risk averse enough to have de-risked me talking about math and money to women. Why? Because initially, Duck 9, deeply understood credit knowledge, financial literacy, basically for sorority girls only. Prior business, baby business, lemonade stand business, was helping women get a higher SAT score. What happens when women want to destroy other women? They destroy the #1 ranked vagina whisperer in the history of whispering or vagina. Me, Larry Chang. Is that funny? It's funny on 600,000 levels. Because, one, it's not trash talking, it's true. Two, I'm batting 1,000 when it comes to blonde billionaires who are attractive. Three, daring to walk people through girl math is 6 figures, 9 figures, 10 figures. During your date, would you like a math quiz? Which is, how many figures is 1 billion? How many figures is 6 figures? Some people don't know how much money 6 figures is. If you don't know how much money 6 figures is, you're probably going to make fewer than 6 figures as a woman total before 30. Not that intelligence is correlated to income because of OnlyFans. But that also has income on a curve, where just because you are making a ton of money because you're older than 22 and younger than 23 doesn't mean that that income never ends. It's pro athlete income. It's seasons. Is this video gonna explain seasons? It does, because we're in a Saturday right before Halloween and people were not out in force. Bars and restaurants did not have a banner night because typically Halloween is a windfall of money. One, people are horny. Two, people want to go out because they don't want to be single through the holidays. Three, it's Halloween. There's a reason to dress up in provocative costumes. That did not happen. That did not happen. That's why Walk of Fame, Walk of Shame wasn't in a high traffic area. It's in seclusion because it feels like that would be on point, because seclusion and retraction and not networking is the course of action. How are we going to benefit from Walk of Fame, Walk of Shame if we're at, let's say, a middle income, there's a war on the middle class? Larry, tell me something positive. Here's some good news for you. One, Halloween's coming. It'll be a good time. That's a single digit number of days away. Something like Halloween is SantaCon. That's December 6th. Something else that's interesting, which you can participate in for no money, just attention, is Computer Science Fight Night. What's Computer Science Fight Night? It's dudes who are working as developers or computer scientists or software engineers lacing up some gloves in order to fight during Computer Science Fight Night, February 6th, San Francisco, specifically Palo Alto, where a couple of CS majors are going to duke it out. The Super Bowl occurs February 8th. Is this something that is a joke franchise? SantaCon was a joke. What is SantaCon? People buy a $10, $15 Santa costume that actually looks pretty decent. Go to a mall such as Irvine Spectrum, which would be 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. What happens when we've been inebriated for 20 hours or 20 minutes? People begin to socially lubricate. That's not a theory, that's a theorem. Is this similar to unofficial St. Patrick's Day at the computer science school that's an institution known as the University of Illinois? Yes, it is. Unofficial. It begins at 9 a.m., 7 a.m., and it goes till midnight. Is that engineers from the University of Illinois moving St. Patrick's Day to be the perfect Saturday after finals? It is. I'm from a school that changed St. Patrick's Day to be more convenient so that way I can party while graduating with the highest starting salary coming out of the University of Illinois. Having the audacity to change St. Patrick's Day so that way, one, I have the luck of the Irish. I can be Irish for a day. Two, why do people love St. Patrick's Day? It's because everyone who is semi-attractive gets to do the Walk of Fame. Three, can you wear green and assemble up a costume? In fact, if you look up Larry Chang Unofficial, I'll do St. Patrick's Day for 2, 3, 5 days per year, depending on my relationship status. If I'm in a relationship, 1 or 2 days of St. Patrick's Day, plenty. But if I'm single and trying to mingle, I can do St. Patrick's Day for 2 weeks. With commensurate level of costumes, which is, can you get ROI for St. Patrick's Day before St. Patrick's Day? Yes. So now that we're experiencing this video, October 26, we're going to connect the 23 days of OpenAI at ACL, day number 26, into what? Connecting it to March 15, which is day 15 of the 22 days of OpenAI at South by Southwest. I'm not going to utter the phrase, which I want to, which is, oh my God, making money is so easy. But that's layer one of venture capital. That's my theorem and investment thesis. Wait, Larry, I'm lost. Is this real? Yes. March 15, St. Patrick's Day, March 15, day 15 of hashtag 22 days of OpenAI at South by Southwest. How many people have their St. Patrick's Day costume already planned? Let's just say 4. The 3 people who are watching this video and me. We know. We know. How do you monetize something that you know to be true in the future? Do you know how to do that? By doing it one time, and even if you just only make $200, your brain improves because you've left $0. Investment thesis. My thesis is if you just leave 0. My thesis is there are 4 layers of venture capital. Layer 1 is the calendar. Layer 2 is slap a stuffed animal on it, make it slay. So during your St. Patrick's Day party, you get 2 bumblebees. And then there are 4 layers of venture capital. Layer 3 is LinkedIn. Layer 0, it's also LinkedIn. Because LinkedIn is totally useless. That's layer 1 venture capital, which is you should be able to make a couple $100 on day number 15 of the hashtag 22 days of OpenAI at South by Southwest. Hot Girl Entrepreneurship Club, Art Basel in Miami. That would be connecting Miami. Art Basel. What's Art Basel? Scantily clad females networking within art. We connect Art Basel in Miami to page 344, Limitless. Booyah, booyah. As we get gift bags for VIPs, for example, Brex. Thank you, Brex. Not credit card advice. Layer 2 VC, Miami, Art Basel, Hot Girl Entrepreneurship Club, Hot Girl Sales Club. Are these APIs that we're ripping? Yes. Connecting to Art Basel with the middle of Hot Girl Entrepreneurship Club, the middle of Hot Girl Sales Club, to Art Basel, to my pinky. It's not stinky because it's not going in your butt. The pinky is 55 days of OpenAI at SF Super Bowl. There are 55 days. Day number 68 of the 55 days of OpenAI at SF Super Bowl connects Art Basel, which is day 8 of the 55 days of OpenAI at SF Super Bowl Miami, to San Francisco Super Bowl. Was that just amazing? Maybe you're confused. This is me unconfusing it for you. February 8 is the Super Bowl. February 10 is New York Fashion Week. February 13 is Stanford baseball. Do you see how people that are going to represent their brand in Palo Alto, Santa Clara, San Francisco, they're going to be in San Francisco February 7 to February 9. Hardcore brand managers, ad agencies, We're going to be there February 2 to February 9. We're going to be in San Francisco for a full week. Are we going to rent a hotel room last minute for $1,300? No. We're going to just rent a house that's ginormous and rent a house. But let's just say that you get 2 rooms for $1,300 because the price keeps going up because, oh my God, the Los Angeles Rams are going to be in the Super Bowl again. Oh. So, they're Los Angeles people, they're going to pay a ton of money. Those Super Bowl people that are going to brand parties and brand events, I swear 80% of them hop on a flight. They don't even go home. They're like, oh, this is so crazy. We're going to fly direct to New York for New York Fashion Week. So crazy. I'm like, did you just get promoted as a boss babe? Because this is the New York Fashion Week nerd bird or the pretty bird. What's the New York Fashion Week hot people bird? It's well put together late 30s women and commensurate men going from the Super Bowl in the Super Bowl city, this year San Francisco, direct to New York for February 10 to February 19, New York Fashion Week. If you're able to connect New York Fashion Week and do biz dev 2/3 to 2/21, 2026, New York Fashion Week, you can also do the random one, which is disconnected, now connected, which is Art Basel to 55 days of OpenAI at SF Super Bowl. Day number 68 is the Super Bowl. Did you just say day 68 of the 55 days of OpenAI at SF Super Bowl? Yeah. In the same way that 1 week is longer than 1 week. Do you see how there's very little difference between the Walk of Fame and the Walk of Shame? You do. And now you totally get it.